Have you ever stopped and wondered what this life is all about? In the quiet moments, late at night or early in the morning, have you felt a deep sense of searching? A longing for something more? It's a universal human experience. We all ask the big questions. Is there a purpose to my existence? Is there a path I'm meant to walk? We look for direction in our careers, in our relationships, and in our personal ambitions. We crave a compass, something or someone to point us toward a destination that truly matters. This isn't just a philosophical exercise. It's a deeply personal quest that beats in the heart of every single one of us. We want to know that our lives are not just a random series of events, but a meaningful journey. Into this deeply human search, a voice from history speaks with stunning clarity and authority. 2,000 years ago, a man named Jesus of Nazareth made a claim that cuts through all our searching. He didn't just offer advice or a new philosophy. He didn't just point to a path. And he declared, "I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life." This is not a suggestion. It is a declaration. Over the course of our time together, we are going to embark on a journey of discovery. This isn't about blind faith. It's about an intelligent and honest investigation. My goal is to walk with you as we explore the evidence. Just as a journalist follows the facts to uncover a story, we will follow the evidence where it leads. We will look at theology, exploring what Jesus actually meant when he called himself the way, the truth, the life. Let's begin by focusing on the statement itself, found in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." The Bible consistently portrays humanity as being separated from God. Theologians call this sin, but we can think of it simply as a broken relationship. It's like a deep chasm has opened up between us. We stand on one side, longing to cross, but we are unable to do so on our own. In our modern world, the very idea of absolute truth is often questioned. We are told that truth is relative, that what's true for you may not be true for me. This creates a deeply unstable foundation for life. If there is no ultimate truth, then there can be no real meaning. We need a truth that is not a matter of perspective, but a matter of reality. When Jesus claims to be the truth, he is asserting he is the ultimate reality. He is the perfect embodiment of God's character and the nature of all things. It is a person. This might seem obvious at first. Well, we are all alive, aren't we? But Jesus is speaking of something far deeper than mere biological existence. He is speaking of life as it was meant to be lived, a life of quality, purpose, eternal significance. The Bible uses the Greek word zoe here, spiritual, eternal, abundant vitality. A claim as monumental as the one Jesus made requires a firm historical foundation. Before we can even begin to assess whether he is the way, the truth, and the life, we have to answer a more basic question. Was Jesus of Nazareth a real person who actually walked the earth? However, when we step into the world of professional academic history, we find that this is a fringe theory that is not taken seriously. The overwhelming consensus among classical historians, including atheists, agnostics, or those of other faiths, is that Jesus of Nazareth was a real historical figure. Our primary sources for the life and claims of Jesus are the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. When we look at the dating of these documents, Mark is usually dated around 70 AD, Matthew shortly after, Luke shortly after as well, and John around 90 AD. That means we have biographical accounts circulating within the lifetime of eyewitnesses, from 40 to 60 years after the events themselves. One of our most important sources is the Roman historian Tacitus. In doing so, he mentions that Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procurators, Pontius Pilatus. The investigation begins at the empty tomb. Scholars broadly agree on a crucial fact. On the Sunday morning after the crucifixion, the tomb was found empty. More importantly, the discovery is attributed to women. In first-century Jewish culture, a woman's testimony was not considered reliable in court. That all four Gospels name women as the first witnesses is a detail unlikely to have been invented. The spiritual evidence begins with the very first disciples. Consider Peter, the fisherman. On the night Jesus was arrested, Peter was so terrified that he denied even knowing him 3 times. Yet, just a few weeks later, this same Peter stood up in Jerusalem and boldly proclaimed Jesus as the risen Lord to the very crowds who had called for his crucifixion. Saul of Tarsus was a violent persecutor of Christians, dedicated to wiping out the new faith. He was on his way to Damascus to arrest more believers when he had a dramatic encounter with the risen Jesus. This event transformed him from the church's greatest enemy into its greatest missionary, the Apostle Paul. Beyond the evidence of lives that were changed is the even more powerful evidence of lives that were given away. The history of the Christian faith is written in the blood of its martyrs. From the very beginning, followers of Jesus were faced with a stark choice: deny Christ and live or confess him and die. With men and women like Polycarp, the elderly bishop of Smyrna. When the Roman proconsul urged him to curse Christ and save his life in the mid-2nd century, Polycarp famously replied, 86 years I have served him, and he has done me no wrong.
How then can I blaspheme my King and my Savior?
Perhaps one of the most stunning pieces of spiritual evidence in the last century has been the explosive growth of Christianity around the world, particularly in the global South and East. Today, there are more Christians in Africa than on any other continent. This demonstrates that the message of Jesus is not tied to one culture, one ethnicity, or one political system. They are discovering that he is not a white man's God, but the Lord of all creation who came to seek and to save the lost, regardless of their skin color or birthplace. It is the result of countless individual stories of personal transformation, multiplied across the globe. It is a spiritual phenomenon of unprecedented scale. Ultimately, this global chorus of praise and testimony is perhaps the loudest spiritual evidence we have. We have journeyed together across a vast landscape of evidence. Now, we stand at the end of our investigation, and we must consider the convergence of all this evidence. It is a cumulative case, a rope woven from many strong strands: theology, history, and personal experience. Each line of evidence supports and strengthens the others. Presenting all this evidence is not meant to be a mere academic exercise. My goal has not been simply to win an argument, but to bring you to a point of decision. The evidence is a doorway, but you must choose whether or not to walk through it. The first step is one of simple, honest prayer. Jesus, I've looked at the evidence. I don't know if you are real, but I want to know. If you are the way, the truth, and the life, if you really are who you said you were, I ask you to reveal yourself to me. I open my mind and my heart to you. Section 4. A Final Plea. We have reached the end of our time together, but for you, it may be just the beginning. A new journey, a new hope, a new life. I have shared this evidence with passion, because my life was radically changed. I, a hardened atheist, finally surrendered to the overwhelming case for Christ. That is my story, but what will yours be? The question of Jesus is not a trivial matter. You cannot put it off indefinitely. If he is who he claimed to be, your response to him is the most important decision you'll ever make. Consequences for this life and for all of eternity. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That is his promise to you today. Rest for your soul direction, for your path, truth, for your mind, life for your heart. The invitation stands. The evidence has been presented. The path forward has been laid out. The choice now is yours. Walk your own way. Seek your own truth. Try to generate your own life. Or place your trust in the one who embodies all three. Take that step of faith. Receive the new life he freely offers. My heartfelt prayer is that you will choose Jesus. Discover for yourself he is the way, the truth, the life. Thank you for taking this journey with me. I encourage you to continue your investigation. Don't let it end here. Look into the resources below. Talk to a Christian friend, a local pastor. Continue to seek, because Jesus promised that all who seek will find. The greatest discovery in the universe is waiting for you.